Yes! Hello, friends. February 5th, 2023, Virtual Strangers 175. Live on the air. I, of course, am your host, Wes. With me, as always, my good friend Ruuts. 175 shows, bro. And that's just for the flagship. Crazy.
That is crazy, actually. And I don't even think about that, because you said we're coming up on 200 soon. And so we were talking about doing something special for it, which actually, if you have any suggestions in the comments or the chat, let us know. And I said, yeah, that's a good idea. But 25 weeks is a long time, but we've been doing it. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff peppered in there, breaks. I mean, I don't know, man. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it has been a long time. And I was thinking this morning, and don't give it away, but do you remember what we were trying to do for 100 that just didn't work out?
I think I do. I remember. Yeah.
I was thinking maybe we try that for 200, but I don't know. I think it's even less likely to work now than it would have been then.
Yeah. Well, maybe we could try.
Maybe.
Wolvie said for 200, Wes has to grow a beard. Okay. Well, the problem is, what Wes needs to do before that is get into his job that he's going to get into in the future, his dream job, where it doesn't matter if he grows a beard, and then he will. But his job now, right? You can't. You have to have a smooth face for your mask, right?
That's right. Well, the funny thing is that I never have to wear a mask ever. But there are people in the building that do have to wear a mask because there's lead dust in the air, and then they will get sick and die if they don't wear it. So our work kind of takes this approach where everyone has to be equally miserable. It's like the socialist approach, right? So if they have to wear a mask or be ready to have one, then like everyone has to be. Nobody can have a beard, except for some reason the supervisors who can just walk around like ZZ Top, and that's no problem.
Yeah. Well, they'll never have to put a mask on, apparently.
Apparently not. I've had to wear it a couple of times. Like, I don't know if you remember, but my work like burned down a few years ago. I don't know, maybe we were doing the show then, or maybe we were.
No, I do remember.
But yeah, it burned like literally down, and we were blessed by God to get it back open within a month. So it wasn't really like any kind of big like detriment economically. But my department was gone for a while. But when we went back, we basically had to continue working through the rubble. And we had to wear masks then because, I mean, the air was just completely destroyed. But besides that, I haven't really had to wear one. So it's kind of ridiculous that I can't have the Ruuts beard. But, well, you know what we might be able to do for episode 200 is finally get the Ruuts coffee mug 2.0 into the My Mom's Closet shop on Redbubble.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
We could... taking a picture of modern Ruuts and
on one side.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good idea. You could do the before and after.
Or you could do like, the you could have the old picture, and then when you pour in the warm coffee, the beard grows, and then it changes into this. No, I don't know.
I wonder if we could get people to make one of those. Remember those toys you used to have as a kid with the face on it, and you could take like the magnetic thing and put a beard on it?
Yeah.
Maybe we could get one of those with your old picture in it, and people could just add the Ruuts beard onto it.
Spry did add that beard on his coffee cup. So
yeah, and it worked pretty good, I thought.
Yeah.
Although I'd hate to see the troll that he had to cut the hair off of, the pencil topper.
That went right in the trash. He just needed it for the beard.
Je ne sais quoi. She remembers Wooly Willy. Good call.
That would be epic.
What's up, Eric? Eric's in the chat. Good to see you, brother.
Happy Sunday. Cool.
And, I've been looking forward to getting on today's show because there's been so much going on this week. So much news. I mean, we started the week off with pandemonium. Everybody losing their fucking mind because VR apparently it died again. And, it was a crazy 30 minutes before Sony Sony came in out and pretty much squashed it, and then people kind of thought things through and realized that a lot of the thought processes of the morning didn't make sense. But it was a tense 30 minutes, because Sony, I mean, they were just trying to come up with any way that they could to distract people. I mean, they came out immediately with a news release. Apparently, they floated a weather balloon over some of our military installations. Anything they could do to distract people from that Bloomberg article.
Yeah.
But then they were given a gift. As people were starting to calm down and they had no direction to send their ire and their passion, they were given a gift by Meta CMO Andrew Bosworth. The gift of one of VR's most beloved franchises being shut down and cut down in its latter days. And it's funny, man. Everything just shifted from Sony to Meta, and it's still going.
Yeah. Well, people are pissed. I don't know. I wonder what Scion's feeling about this, but...
Oh, I know what Scion's feeling. I talked to him about it. He's not happy.
Well, I'm sure. Well, people signed the petition. I don't know. I'm torn. I mean, not torn because I clearly believe that it'd be great for this thing to be open. But I also know that it's a business, and if there's not enough money coming in to warrant the server, then they're going to shut it down. And then a lot of people will say, "Well, just peer-to-peer it." Well, a lot of companies don't want to do peer-to-peer, or doing that. If they're not going to run a server, then the game gets shut down. So I kind of get it. It's a free game. People didn't end up buying it. They did buy skins and other things. It just sucks that we live in a day where you just can't trust a game is even going to last a year. This happens all the time, man. Game comes out a year later, it's gone. And so I do feel for people that like, this is your jam. I feel really bad for people that are losing this game.
Yeah, I do too. And it's not like nobody's playing it. I mean, there's still a handful measured in the tens of thousands that play it. I mean, that's not a huge number on the big picture. Like, there's a lot more people playing Gorilla Tag or Rec Room, but there was still a rather passionate and dedicated community playing it. But I think I saw on Twitter, I think it was VR with Jasmine, made a really interesting observation, and what she said was, you people, you sit every day and you cheer and you wait for Meta to fail, and then when they start failing, you get all mad about it because it's a good point. The reason why they're shutting this down is because they have to cut costs. Like they're having a rough time financially because they've been subsidizing VR for 3 years plus since they brought the standalone units out. And when a product like this fails, it's like people want it both ways. They want Meta to fail, but not their thing, right? Their thing needs to be immune to it.
Absolutely. And Eric's got a good point. He says it's extremely difficult and expensive, even if you let it be on their own servers. And I guarantee the number that's not a daily number of people playing. And that's true. I guarantee it's significantly less, enough to where they don't feel like they're making any money. And I saw a good point too somebody made that they really haven't done much to incentivize people to want to spend any money either. So it's not a shock that it's not, people aren't running out and buying all these skins. There's things they could do to keep it going. But I don't know, maybe there'll be a sequel. And that's what they're clearing space for. I don't know. Something of that nature.
Bluebell coming through with the $20 US donation. Thank you so much, Bluebell. Says, to hell with Meta. We need Wes and Ruuts bobblehead dolls. So I guess for episode 200, they'd like some new merch in the form of bobblehead dolls. Which I don't know if we could do bobblehead dolls. That's a little bit it's a little bit I don't know the word I'm looking for. That's yesterday's merch. I think today we would have to do like pop figurines, right?
Yeah, something. I don't know. That sounds pretty cool though. I don't know.
Thank you. And we had a donation before the show started too. It was who was it, Reeds? It was O'Doyle. It was O'Doyle. Said, thanks for the heads up the other night. Great CES coverage too. Thank you, sir, for the constant support. You rule. But yeah, man, Bosworth came out. He took advantage for it. He said, hey, it's my call. It was a tough call. He explained his reasoning behind it. And then he invoked the name of John Carmack, which post-meta John Carmack is becoming one of my favorite people because he just shows right up if you say his name. And he don't have to, like, put a filter on it anymore. So he did, like, this whole big, long response to it with, like, 5 other things that they could have done other than just killing it. That would have, alleviated some of the financial responsibility, but still allowed people to continue playing, in theory.
Yeah. Well, he was. I guess he said he was proud that the Quake servers are still up, and that's been how many years?
Right. That's a good point. Yeah, I don't know, many years, much longer than VR's been around. So.
Yeah, longer than Echo VR. Let me ask you this, Wes, because I know there is a petition out there, and I do salute people that sign said petitions. Do you really think it's going to make a difference? Or do you think they've already made up their mind? Because I think they've already made up their mind that it's gone.
Yeah, I think what would be more effective than signing a petition is if people got in the damn game and played it every day. That would probably help a lot more. Like if everyone just picked it back up all of a sudden and the title had a renaissance, then I think that petition might have a little bit more effect. But they don't care how many people are willing to click the thing. Like they don't make money off of those clicks. But if you get in the game, people start buying some of the crap that you can get in there. Then it might save it. So how about you try that? But listen, you should do both, right? You should do both. And if you're one of these people who want to try to save Echo VR, I did include the link to the petition in the description down below. And they've already got almost 20,000 signatures on it. So, I mean, it's doing pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I agree. Everybody that signed it, get in there and play it. And enjoy it.
There you go.
I was just getting ready to have Scion show me how to play now. Next month.
Yeah, that's me.
That's crazy.
What a coincidence, man. I was about to jump into it and go full force.
Yeah.
Man, damn it.
Yeah.
Anyway, Eric says Red Everyone's level 50 in the game, which is damn near a master level and has not been in the game over a year. If that says it. Yeah, right. And that's it, man. But, for what it's worth, I feel like Carmack had some good points. There's some good solutions in his response. But he also makes the point that it's difficult to do anything at Meta because it's such a large machine that there's 50 steps to do any kind of make any kind of action, no matter what it is. And then on top of that, you have to deal with government oversight and interference, which Meta has to deal with more than anybody. So, it's a tough situation for sure. And my heart goes out there to the people who still play this game. But I kind of get it, I kind of get it why things are happening the way that they are.
Yeah.
Anyways, it was great. So, just the distraction that Sony needed to kind of get the narrative off of them and back on the meta where it belongs. But yeah, a crazy week in VR, and I got to imagine that we're going to have more and more of these going forward. 2023 is going to be a hell of a ride, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, that was the last misleading story that's going to exist out in the media. So
yeah, definitely.
So what do you think the answer is? No more knee-jerk reactions from people? Like maybe take a breath before they start freaking out about an article?
Yeah. Well, I mean, when we talked a little bit about this on Wednesday, as long as people respond when these lame-ass VR's dead articles get put out there and videos, as long as people are clicking on that stuff, it's going to keep coming. Just ignore it. I mean, at this point, we've seen it so many times, we know it's mostly bullshit. So just ignore it when you see stuff like that. Or if anything, wait to one of your favorite media outlets or content creators covers it, and then you know click on that content, click on these stories, and then help the ones that you want to support. But if Bloomberg wants to say some bullshit, just ignore it. And or Kotaku or any of the Verge or any of these other places that were kind of propagating that garbage. So that would be my suggestion. Just only get your news from trusted sources.
Yeah. That's a good suggestion.
Yeah. Anyway, we have a lot to talk about this week, man. PSVR 2 is getting closer, and as it gets closer, I'm starting to kind of remember what that means. I think I kind of forgot, but it's all starting to rush back to me now. So we're going to talk about that in a moment. But before we do that, why don't we say hello to our friends in chat? Space Denison is here. What's up, Void Cat? Distract is here as well as Zayla Maru is here. Tatum, Alakazam, GT. What's up, GT? GT's in chat. Wolveraza, Mickey Barrios, Vince, Bluebell. We already said hello to. Jenna. We already said hello to. Eric. Johnny Rapop. What's up, Rapop? Good to see you. Your Long Shadows is here. What's up? Good to see you. The Handy Capable Gamer says I'm a bit late, but at least I'm catching the show live. Hey, we're all a bit late every week, so it's all right. Who else is here? Radio Runt, Idaho is here. Chris9989 is here as well. Chris was excited for the show. He saw the title, said that there's some interesting games being discussed this week, and I concur with that 100%. This should be a banger. Techno Glitch is here. Good to see you, Techno Glitch. Who else is here? Mepper's here. Mickey Barrios. We might have already said hello to Mickey, but if not, hello, Mickey. Mickey's still dropping keys in the Discord on the daily. Every morning, 2 keys go in the free games channel. So you guys better be snatching them up because the train don't stop.
Yeah, that's crazy.
GameCat Photo Nutter said, okay, never mind. I was talking to Distract. What up, GameCat Photo Nutter? Spry Guy's here. Good day, Spry Guy. Hope you're having a lovely day. Who else? Scrolling. My wife is here. Hello, wife. Vargo Soft is here as well. GB is in the chat. Sim is Robo. What up? Michelle B. Hello, Vince. Hello. Scrolling. Chinatown D. What up, D? Lage. Is that how you pronounce it? Lagge. This is a very active person in our Discord, but I never know how to. Is it lag? Is it laggy? Is it lage? I don't know. Oh, it's the first time he's caught our show live. Awesome. He's coming in hot from Sweden. Our friend Lage.
Lage? Well, I would say how I think it is, but I was wrong last time, so I'm probably wrong this. I think it's Lage.
Yeah. Well, I could ask Google, but it takes 5 seconds. So
yeah, that's too much time. We live in a now generation.
Here? What's up, Fluke? Fluke's here. Old Darth is here. What up? What up? He says, "Oh yeah, that's what that balloon was about." Yeah, it was just Sony trying to distract everyone.
Yeah.
Nothing to see here. It has Snacks. The future arrives. GameCat. What up, Snacks?
2 weeks. The future arrives. Well, 17 days.
That's right. That's right. Minutes away. That's what they say. Anybody left? Of course. People like Zayla Maru we need to say hello to. Or Dan Kitty VR. Josh Katz here. Sajoba is here. Rob Perry is here. Hussein X is here. Chatty. Congratulations, Chatty. I don't know exactly what Chatty won, but I'm sure Chatty just won something somewhere. So, congrats, Chatty.
I agree.
Yeah. Decepticons here, Roots, as always. Mind Jive's here. Hello. Alakazam. I think we already said hi to Tatum. Let's just say hi to him again. What's up, Tatum? Scroll. Oh, Guido. How could we not say hello to Guido? Guido trying to do good things behind the scenes as we speak, but sometimes it's more difficult than others. Mike Newton says, hi, VR peeps. What up, Mike Newton? All you are is history is here. And finally, mercifully, YouTube cuts me off, so I can stop scrolling now. Hello, everyone. It's amazing how many people showing up on Sundays this last few weeks. So thank you, all of you. And if I missed any of you, I apologize. Welcome, all. I'm excited, Roots. I'm excited to talk VR this week because so many cool things got revealed. No matter if you're talking about PlayStation VR or PC VR, we have a lot of good stuff. Xavier's here for the first time ever. Thank you, Xavier, for stopping by. You're awesome. Looper's here as well. People are still rolling in. Fat Boy Vernon is here as well. What's up? Like I said before, people really blowing me away with the engagement on Sundays lately. People are clicking the stuff. People are clicking the like buttons, Roots. They're clicking the subscribe button.
They're doing the things.
They're doing the things. It's really making a difference too, like a very notable difference. So you guys keep it up. Make sure you're clicking the thumbs up. Make sure you're all subscribed because I'm telling you, you're moving the needle for us, unlike ever before. So thank you, everyone. Anyway, as I was saying before, Roots, a lot of things to be excited about this week. PSVR 2 in particular, hype level on 10. So why don't we start there?
PlayStation.
Why Gran Turismo 7 is a revelation in virtual reality. This from Autosport.com. Opinion: the PSVR 2 and the upcoming Gran Turismo 7 update provides the best console virtual reality experience to date, setting an example for other developers to follow. Coming out of the hairpin at the reimagined Deep Forest Raceway, I have momentum on the Ford GT GR3 ahead of me. I duck out from behind its rear wing, moving left as we approach an innocuous-looking kink that leads onto the main straight. We're now alongside each other, and to check the ever-decreasing gap between the two cars, I instinctively look to my right. Not with the press of a button, but by moving my head. It's at this exact moment the experience clicks. This is Gran Turismo 7 in virtual reality with the upcoming PlayStation VR 2, and in short, it makes for an essential gaming experience. This is Sony's second attempt at a VR headset, and indeed, an implementation within a Gran Turismo game. Racing titles, in theory, should make an ideal companion to the reactive three-dimensional environments, but on consoles at least, that has been a challenge so far. The main hindrance has been raw horsepower. The original PlayStation VR from 2016 was somewhat held back by the console's abilities and the headset's resolution, despite requiring a separate processor box. The superlative Wipeout Omega Collection mode showed that Sony was on the right path with the technology, but it was one of the few fully featured PSVR racing titles that was able to deliver upon expectations. And the previous Gran Turismo game, GT Sport, was only able to run VR within the confines of a siloed mode. VR Drive, VR Time Trial, and VR Showroom were clearly limited by the hardware. You could enjoy the trappings of one-to-one head tracking, looking at your mirror to see your competitors and gain a greater sense of elevation changes, but you were limited to just one other AI-controlled car on the track. The career was off limits, and don't even think about racing online. Even the showroom was just a dark abyss, and entering the car wasn't possible. But with PSVR 2, that potential is now finally realized based on our limited time test. A quick caveat: Gran Turismo 7, when using VR, you can't race in two-player local split screen because, understandably, the PS5 doesn't support two headsets simultaneously. Imagine the power needed to run that. But otherwise, it's the full game. Unshackled, playable in virtual reality, no limitations. 20 AI rivals in cars on the track. Every World Circuit's career race, license tests, mission, online lobbies, and online ranked sport mode. Every car, every track, and every time of the day. Sunshine or rain, the same home screen user interface. It works seamlessly. Ruuts, you know, when Jim Ryan came out on stage at CES and let the world know that Gran Turismo 7 was coming, it really wasn't a surprise to us VR enthusiasts. We've been expecting this announcement for a year now. Subsequently, you know, while our enthusiasm for that announcement may have been a bit subdued, we all kind of recognized that it was a big deal for the ecosystem. It was a big deal for VR to get such a well-known and beloved title into Sony's headset on launch day. It was kind of a coup. This game is a headset seller. What didn't really dawn on me at that time, though, was really what this meant. And we could say it, man. You know, that you know, this is a AAA VR game and it's different than the stuff that we're used to playing. But we've talked about what AAA games would mean to VR so many times over the years that at a certain point you kind of forget what that actually means, and you're just kind of saying the same things over and over again. It wasn't until this last week when the larger media started to give their impressions of GT7. It was then when it clicked with me and I remembered what exactly it means to have a legit AAA game in VR. And I went from someone who was mildly enthusiastic about playing this driving simulator just because it's a big title. I've gone on over the last week to become now genuinely excited to play this game because just looking at the footage, hearing what people have to say, again, it's clicking with me what it means now to have a AAA Sony exclusive like this coming to VR. I think this is going to be one of the best games we've ever played, Ruuts.
I think so too. And I think you're going to have a better experience with the wheel than I will with no wheel, but I think it'll still be amazing. I know Wolvie was asking if there's motion controls, and you said that you think that they are, but you're not sure if it's 1-to-1 with like which, come on, no one wants to use a virtual wheel. I have not played a racing game where that actually helped. That's always hurt me. So, but it would be nice, I guess, to be able to use the controls, even if it's just a joystick, right?
Yeah, I would be surprised if you couldn't just run it gamepad style with the individual sense controllers. They have all the same inputs, so it makes sense.
So is this technically the first hybrid game then? Because I mean it's
the first party hybrid game. I would say Village was the first hybrid game that got announced when Capcom announced their VR mode for Resident Evil 8 Village. But yeah, this is the first one coming from Sony, and again, we kind of say the words so many times that I quit thinking about what they actually mean. But it all came back this week watching IGN cover it. Actually, it's like a bunch of Xbox players coming on and selling people PSVR 2, which is just unheard of. Everyone had nothing bad to say about it. They were all amazed at just how detailed and beautiful the graphics were. The high frame rate, everything was smooth, no reprojection, well, no noticeable reprojection, no stutters. Everything just runs great. And again, Roots, this is a legit AAA Sony exclusive. There's going to be hundreds of cars with even the smallest detail on any of them, whether you're looking at the car from the outside or sitting in it on the inside. Gran Turismo calls itself the real driving simulator, and I think that's an accurate description of what they go for here. Sure, it's a racing game because what else are you going to do with a bunch of cars? But I think first and foremost, this is a car simulator. It gives you access to dozens of cars that you'll never even be able to come close to touching in your life, and lets you sit inside them, examine every smallest detail, and then take them out on a racetrack and drive them wide open. I'm so excited, Roots, that I didn't even install the copy of the GameFly disc that I got in last week. What I decided to do instead was buy it. So like I'm sending it back to GameFly without even opening it for a couple of reasons. Of course, we can share copies of our games when I buy it. But beyond that, I want to vote with my dollars, man. I've said this before, like I like the time when I buy things in conjunction with like VR announcements so that the studios know why I'm buying the game. And it's on sale. There were all these media reviews out at the time, and I said, you know what, the time is now. If we're going to buy it, and I think we're going to end up buying it anyway, we should buy it now so that they know without without a shadow of a doubt that we're buying this for the VR support.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of people that come into VR, right? Now that they know that there's a viable, easy way to play these a VR version of a racing game. So.
Super Nintendo Chalmers with the $5 donation says, Wes, do racing rigs these days swing more than 360 like off-road 4x4? My biggest gripe with racing wheels is that the racing rigs is the wheel only turns like 280 degrees. I would say with racing rigs these days, kind of an old rule of thumb applies, and this rule applies to anything in life. not just racing wheels. And that rule is you get what you pay for. So I would say, without testing them directly, I would say that the 280-degree turn is probably standard on your more entry-level stuff. But if you want to go spend like $1,000 on a nice belt-driven Fanatec setup, I'd say you'll probably have a little bit more range with that. That's just my speculation. Of course.
Do you think this will help the developers of Wreckfest realize that we need Wreckfest in VR? That'd be so amazing. It's already an amazing game anyway, but I want it in VR.
I don't know. What engine is Wreckfest developed in?
I don't know if it could be. See, you'd have to. I guess you could play offline. Because most of what we play is online.
Oh, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I get what you're saying. You could possibly be banned for it in multiplayer games. I get what you're saying. Good call. Yeah. Well, hopefully what you're saying is true, and Gran Turismo demonstrates a clear desire from the VR fan base to play these types of games, and maybe in the next couple of years we see a Wreckfest in VR.
That'd be cool.
Diss Track says, yes, Roots. Oh my God, it's amazing. So I guess he's talking about Wreckfest as well.
Yeah. Poop Socks on a Friday night. Poop Socks is a server, and it gets crazy up in that place. It's always packed.
I still never played Wreckfest. Roots.
You'd love it. But what's cool is you put it, at least I do, I put it in first person, even when I'm playing it flat. And because you have all these figure 8 tracks that, crisscross each other. And so, I just go in blind. I don't want to be third person so I can see other people coming. I just go through, and I just hope I don't get hit by somebody going across. Because usually you can't stop it anyway, so.
Distract, Techno Glitch, Radio Runt, everyone agrees. Fluke Rogi says the old G27 Logitech had 900 degrees of rotation.
Wow.
And so does the Logitech. So, yeah, I didn't think about... what I was saying there when I was reading off that comment. 280 degrees is small. Yeah, you can definitely go over 360. I don't know how far you can go, but apparently 900 degrees is the answer. Thank you, Fluke. Yeah, I didn't think about it at the time when I was answering the question about what the specific values were that he was asking me about. Yeah, but yeah, the thing definitely goes well over 360 degrees. It has a lot of a wide turn radius in it, and that's just with my I don't know which one I have, G927 or something like that. I've got the pro version of the G29 with the true force feedback and the nice leather grip.
It's gonna be nice. It's gonna be kick ass with the game.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, I'm torn, Roots, because I know that this is going to be a very time consuming thing. There's a lot of preparation time needed to get your licenses and things. And do I play it now? Do I do that and so that I'm ready when the game gets here, or do I just wait and just do it all in VR because it's going to be so much better in VR? I'm kind of torn on it.
Maybe going a little bit beforehand, get the licenses out of the way, and so you have a concept of how much better it is in VR than flat, right?
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll see. I don't know. I keep going back and forth on it. One thing's for sure, though. I am legitimately more excited for this than I think any other racing game ever. I'm not a big racing guy, and typically when I do play racing games, I prefer arcade racers. But when you talk about Sims, I legitimately feel like this is a new level. This is going to be a new level for sim racing. And I'm all about a new level in terms of realism. Apparently this thing is good enough to kind of fool you a little bit. I think if they could somehow hook up a full motion rig, that this game might legitimately fool some people. Which of course, as of right now, PlayStation doesn't support anything like the Yaw or any of these other rigs. But apparently it's pretty convincing as it is with just the PSVR headset itself. And can you imagine, Roots, with the next gen haptics, what they're going to be able to do with this thing? I'm sure it's going to be way more immersive than even the best racing experiences that came before.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. Do you think it'll be as good, as realistic as that one that just came out on the Quest? The Grid one?
Grid Legends?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Grid Legends is pretty good from what I hear.
Pretty high bar to reach, right?
I mean, it was so realistic for our friend Paradise Decay that like he couldn't handle it. He had to return it like on day one. So it was just too much for him.
It's just too much.
Super Mario Chalmers says, well, Gran Turismo is the end all be all. Remember Sega GT? That was nothing. Yeah. So he's talking about GT, I guess, or talking about a game. Radio Rut says, I just spent 90 on a Drive Hub adapter to use my TX wheel with the PS5. Well, that's awesome, dude. That's awesome. I'm glad to see people like Radio Rut having something to be excited about and looking forward to, because he was on the line, right? He's one of these people like, I don't know if it's going to be worth it. I don't know if there's going to be enough games, at least in the beginning, to entice me to getting a PSVR 2. And then something like this just goes to show what we talked about coming out of CES. It maybe you know, a lot of people not so excited about Gran Turismo 7, but this is a big, legit AAA game, and it's going to bring a lot of people's in and add a lot of value to the launch lineup.
Yeah, and it's going to create buzz as those people go in and they're like, dude, this is the best racing game I've ever played. They tell their friends pick it up. You know, I mean, every big banger like this that they get is good.
So how are we going to play all these games? Like right on, even with Switchback getting delayed, we still have Horizon, we still have Resident Evil Village, we still have Gran Turismo on day one, and that's not to mention all the cool third-party upgrades like Rez and Tetris Effect, Thumper. There are other games that are part of the launch lineup, like the Light Brigade, that I'm super excited to play. How are we going to make time for all of this? We're going to just have to cancel the show. I will point out that PlayStation VR 2 launches on a Wednesday.
Oh, wow, that's going to be crazy, right? I don't even know what I work that day. I might be able to get in there for 5 minutes. Well, maybe not 5 minutes, but yeah, that's crazy. It's I don't know how we're going to get enough time, but we're going to make time. Time.
Maybe we'll do 2 real-time reviews for the episode that night, and we just stream and talk while we're streaming.
Yeah, that's true. They should have Discord in there by then too, right? Maybe.
Yeah, actually, there's a beta out right now of the system software that supports Discord, and yeah, so there are PlayStation 5s out there right now that have Discord integration.
Yeah, cool.
I don't know what we're gonna do for that episode, but I can assure you that whatever it is, it's going to be fucking cool.
It's gonna be a banger.
It is going to be a banger for sure. And I think we're already at the point now, Roots, where everything we're gonna do is gonna be an awesome episode for the whole year. Like we've already been putting out some good stuff lately, and it just keeps getting better and better. The news is awesome every week. The games that we play on Wednesday are awesome every week. I think we're finally starting to get into the long prophesied golden age of VR that we've been talking about for so long.
I thought VR was dead. Oh, damn, yeah, that was quick. Right. That was a quick bounce back, man. That was like less than a week.
It's less than a half an hour, bro. It was dead. It was like they brought the paddles out and revived it real quick. Clear.
Yeah, crazy.
Anyways, yeah, I can't believe my excitement for this game. Like, again, I was excited for what it meant for the ecosystem more than I was excited for what it actually meant for me personally. Let me ask you this, Roots. Like, there's so much time that goes into a game like this. And I always just kind of expected that this was going to be like a palate cleanser for me. Something that I play in between the games that I really want to put time into. I'm not so sure that's going to be the case anymore. Are you going to use this as a buffer between the other games, or is this going to be one of your main courses?
I don't know. It's a good question. Depends on how good it is as far as, I mean, I like the racing games just like everybody else. I'm not like big into them like techno glitches, but I definitely could see myself going in there a lot more Especially if we're racing against each other online. That'd be a big thing too.
We can play multiplayer. That's exactly right. Like we can play together, which is awesome. I'm not sure how many people you can get in the lobby, but just even if it's just a couple of your friends, it's going to be amazing. We should play this for the first time. Like, well, of course, I know we can't get our licenses and stuff all together, but we should get into this pretty quick and play multiplayer because I think that's going to be a big value add for people like us.
Your Long Shadow says kayak will be their buffer game. You know, I still have yet to go back. I wanted to go back in for the holiday ones, you know, to check out the Christmas tree, all the lights and stuff. I didn't go back in, but I'm sure I'll go in and check it out. I don't know how much time people are going to be spending in that experience, as Mash would say, but it's going to look amazing. You're going to be amazed. You're not going to be able to pet the turtle, though. You know who loves petting the turtle, Wes?
My mom!
Yeah, she does.
She knows how to get it out of its shell.
Yeah, that's right.
I think Rez and Tetris Effect are going to be my buffers, or like Rez and Thumper, I mean. And but beyond that, beyond my normal go-to buffers, which those games are going to serve that purpose. At first, we're going to have legit legit awesome games to kind of go to as a buffer, games that we've already finished, you know, but now we've got an upgraded, enhanced version on PSVR 2, like Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge, for example. I look forward to seeing how that game is now with upgraded graphics, with the unique haptics on all the different weapons. That already was a pretty high quality production on the Quest. I can't imagine how much better it's going to be now, though, with some real horsepower behind it and new features to integrate. And there's a whole laundry list of games like this, like No Man's Sky and others that are getting these next gen upgrades. Zombieland, Headshot Fever, stuff like this that typically would serve as a main course game before. Now that we've kind of already put time into them, I think they're going to be really effective as buffers, as palate cleansers, especially over the first few weeks.
That's true. That's true. And think about the eye tracking foveated rendering for What the Bat. Funky Sloth says Wes is going to mainline What the Bat, and you have no idea because the haptic triggers. You know, I'm curious to see. Just for, I mean, I've never been in that game to begin with, but I wonder if there is any difference. I think we should put Eric on that one since he's already been in to begin with, right?
Yeah, my vote goes for Eric on this
one. Eric, you have to take one for the team again.
I feel sorry for somebody like Brian. You know, Brian prides himself on reviewing every game. Man, this is going to be a tough one to find time for What the Bat.
He found time for that one shooter alien game that he said was the worst game he's ever played or whatever. I think What the Bat will probably be a nice treat. So
there you go. Congratulations.
Yep.
Everyone who bought What the Bat. Anyways, certainly Gran Turismo 7, some of the more exciting PSVR 2 news that came out over last week, but by no means the only PSVR 2 news that came out over last week. We have a lot of cool other stuff to talk about here as well.
Rated T for teen. Rated T for teen.
Seeing the world of Horizon Call of the Mountain through new eyes. This is from the PlayStation blog, and this is actually a write-up that gives us a pretty good chunk of what the story is going to be about in Horizon. New information here with regards to the story experience. This from Shantae Goodman, the community manager at Guerrilla Games. Over the last few months, we've been sharing glimpses of Horizon Call of the Mountain, an upcoming PlayStation VR 2 adventure launching on the 22nd of February. Today, we wanted to spend some time getting to know Rias, the character you'll play, as you experience a new story in the world of Horizon. The Karya Sundom is still reeling from the bloody Red Raids, a brutal campaign of attacks and ritual sacrifice inflicted by the Karja on neighboring tribes. These raids, which devastated countless lives, were ended when Mad Sun King Jiran was overthrown by his own son, Avad. The aftershocks of Jiran's rule splintered the Karja tribe, with those grateful for an end to his rule remaining in the Sundom, and soldiers loyal to the slain leader forcing their way into the citadel at sunfall, reforming the Karja in shadow. The protagonist of Horizon Call of the Mountain, Rias, was one such soldier. Having played a key role in the abduction of young Prince Idaman from his home in Meridian, Rias seeks to atone and regain his honor. After allowing himself to be captured and imprisoned by the Karja, Rias spared execution. Now, he's been recruited by the Sun King Avad and the blameless Marad. A master climber, archer, and hunter, Rias must earn his freedom in exchange for investigating a new threat. Guerrilla's studio narrative director Ben McCall offered us further insight. Rias ended up on the wrong side for right reasons. His family was torn apart, and ultimately he was incarcerated. This is the story of how he tries to come back from that. Rias has a dangerous adventure ahead of him, and while he may be the only one who can do the job, he won't do it alone. Along the way, players will meet new characters and be reunited with familiar ones. Though his past has affected these relationships, explains Ben. Having fought for the Shadow Karja, Rias' relationship with these characters is at best adversarial. He needs to make inroads and amends if he hopes to be accepted. Take Hami, for example, a stalwart soldier for the Karja Sundom who was spared the horrors of the Red Raids thanks to her posting as a border guard. Even she is unable to forgive or forget the atrocities caused by the Shadow Karja, having lost many friends and comrades to the conflict. Known for her sharp wits and quick temper, Hami resents the task of escorting Rias. Her hatred for what Rias represents is just one of the challenges he will face. With Horizon Call of the Mountain, players will be able to experience the world of Horizon from a new perspective. Though both Rias as a compelling new protagonist and the PSVR 2 headset. With haptic feedback, intelligent eye tracking, and ultra-wide field of view, the player becomes incredibly immersed, and Call of the Mountain puts them right at the most thrilling peaks of the Sundom and beyond. Says Ben McCall, we took the Horizon experience and built it from the ground up for VR, and for this, we felt we needed a new protagonist. As a master climber, hunter, and explorer, Rias offers the perfect viewpoint of the sweeping vistas and dangerous wilds of Horizon. So Ruuts, here we get a prime example of what is typically the cornerstone of any Sony single-player exclusive game, and that is deep storytelling. And I think that above all, that's what this game is going to provide to us, is kind of that experience that we typically get from Sony flat games, and we got from a couple of games on the PSVR 1 as well. But I think as far as what this game has to offer, outside of the archery and the climbing and the exploration, I think it's going to offer us deep immersion through the the production value that they've got going on visually, audio wise, with the haptics. But they're going to use all these tools to do what Sony typically does, and that is tell us an awesome story.
Yeah, that's all we want, right? Good 7 to 8 hour story campaign. I don't know if it's a campaign, but definitely a story experience. This is the thing, though. You know, the next Call of the Mountain or Horizon game, I want it to be both VR and flat, and I want to drift away from experiences, and hopefully they will. You know, but I think it's going to be really good.
Yeah, I would like to see it be more open world someday and have some of those RPG elements like the original game had. But I think Farpoint is a great example of the kind of value I think this game is going to provide. You know, Farpoint didn't offer the deepest gameplay. It was a linear shooter game, but the gameplay was fun, simple but fun, and the storytelling was amazing.
Right.
And I think that's what we're going to be saying about Horizon as we work our way through it.
Yeah, story was the best part of it, absolutely. And my thing is it, if we can get all these flat games ported into VR on PC, and every one of them we keep saying, man, this feels like it's built from the ground up. When you read that in the article that we built it from the ground up, I thought, well, that's great, but you almost don't need to. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just take the AAA game that you're going to put for flatties out there and just give us an in, make a hybrid, and on top, and you can still deliver these kind of, I mean, there's a reason why The Last of Us TV show is successful. You know, people love watching a good story. So you can do something like that even for any game. You can give us a Horizon Call of the Mountain, give us a side story or something that fits in between, and just make it really entertaining and really good as well. I want to see them focus more on bringing I want equality. If the flatties get it, I want it in VR too. And we now know that the modders have proven it can be done on everything. So there's really no reason to. It's just getting the developers to realize that they should just do it. So
yeah, agreed. Vince says Forbidden West is arguably the best looking game on PS5, and having a VR experience in that world. Yeah, that's kind of the promise, Vince. Good call.
Yeah.
Beard of Power 666. Wes, did the demo you played have any dialogue after the boat ride? Not much. There was a brief encounter or two with some of the people that this article actually references. People whose side you're trying to be on, but they don't want your help. They show up. They
Jerks.
Throw things at you. They curse you. That they don't want. It's like you were there on January 6th, Roots. Nobody wants anything to do.
I don't want to help them. Then if they don't want my help, I'm not giving it. Screw them.
You have to. You have to, bro. You got to do what's right.
Ah, damn it. Okay. So I'm stuck helping people that are throwing shit at me. That sounds good.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm the part of the police force, right?
right. Oh man. No, man. We've known from day one that this is going to be Sony's kind of shining example of the potential of PSVR 2 right up off of the front. We didn't know how far they were going to go with it in terms of the storytelling, in terms of the scope of the game. But as time goes along, they keep giving us little bit glimpses here and there. And the more I see, the more confident I am that people are going to be blown away by this game.
Yeah. Well, can't wait. Only 16 days or 17, 16, whatever you want to call that.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes, right?
17 days from right now. We'll call it 16 and a half. How about that?
Yeah. Yeah, because the people in Europe are already like, it's 16, bro. Well, we're not quite there yet. We're getting there.
Right. Anyways, GT7, Horizon Call of the Mountain, amazing news and amazing new glimpses into these games over the past week. But these are games we already knew were coming, Roots. Did we have anything come out this week, announced for PSVR 2, that we weren't expecting?
things by as well as some gold and diamond. Most noteworthy was Miss Hell's precious instant camera, which has finally found a new owner. Which has finally found a new owner. Which has finally found a new owner. Which has finally found a new owner.
Hi there, this is Alexis Di Stefano, creator of Madison and founder of Lotus Games. As you may know, last year we teamed up with Perp Games to release Madison on consoles, both in digital and physical, and we can't be happier with all the love and all the support we received from all of you since day one. So thank you so much for that. For some of you, Madison was the scariest gaming experience of last year, which is completely amazing. But now, we are ready to move forward and take it to a whole new level, making it even scarier. Since release, we have been working on some exciting things I wish I could reveal. But today, I'm here to announce that Madison will be coming to the next generation of the PlayStation VR headsets, the PlayStation VR 2. So get ready to experience the game like never before and face your fears in virtual reality. Stay tuned for more updates.
Horror game Madison is getting a VR version. This from GameRant.com. Developer Bloodiest Games announces that its frightening first-person horror game Madison is receiving a VR version designed for PlayStation VR 2. A bone-chilling new trailer reveals that Bloodiest Games' terrifying 2022 horror title, Madison, will be making its way to Sony's soon-to-be-released PlayStation VR 2. The subject of countless online videos showing streamers scaring themselves senseless, the PT-influenced horror game Madison should make a bone-chilling addition to the Sony headset's ever-growing library of VR horror titles. Released for PC and consoles in 2022, Madison is a first-person horror game that draws inspiration from Hideo Kojima's canceled PT project. Featuring gritty, realistic visuals and suitably spooky sound design throughout, the unique horror title doesn't provide players with any weapons to take on the demonic creatures that inhabit the game world. Instead, players rely on an instant camera to solve puzzles, uncover secrets, and deliver some truly terrifying jump scares. The announcement of Madison's release for Sony's headset puts it in the company of one of the gaming industry's biggest horror heavyweights, with the PSVR 2 version of Resident Evil 8 arriving as a launch title for the device. In a trailer that was released as part of the publisher Perp Games PSVR 2 showcase, Madison creator and Bloodiest Games founders Alexis Di Stefano pronounced that the popular horror game will be receiving a PSVR 2 port. The developer appeared over footage of the flat screen release of Madison and thanked fans of the games for their support before revealing that it would be arriving on PSVR 2. Though no release date was announced, Di Stefano stated that the PSVR 2 version of Madison would take the game to a whole new level that will make the first-person horror title scarier than ever. Closing out the trailer with an unexpected jump scare, the surprise announcement of a PSVR 2 port of Madison is sure to be welcome news to both fans of the original game and those looking for a whole new way to experience horror titles. You know, Roots, we've talked about horror games over the years, and I think we very accurately described the kind of landscape for horror games. there's a lot of good ones, good horror titles in VR outside of the PSVR ecosystem, but not so many great ones. The best horror titles that we've ever seen, 90% of those were exclusive to PlayStation VR. And now, coming off of what I consider to be a pretty substantial drought for VR horror games during the Quest era, we see very early on in the games that are confirmed for PSVR 2 that not only is PSVR 2 bringing back AAA VR gaming, but the PSVR 2 is also bringing back VR horror in a big way. And this is just the latest example of that.
Yeah, there's so many coming out. And I was just thinking, I was feeling bad for people like Radio Run or London Road says, call me, whatever, but I'm not doing horror games in VR. And I get it. If you're not into horror, like I'm not a big horror buff either. I don't like horror movies, gratuitous violence. I just like good games. And especially ones like Resident Evil 7 or RE8 or whatever. This one, seems to be very creepy. So I think it'll be a good addition, and I think we're gonna finally get to see some really great horror games. The bar is gonna be raised. So
absolutely, and not to say that there weren't any good ones that came out on Quest. Obviously, Wraith the Oblivion Afterlife came out on Quest. The Blair Witch, which is amazing, that came out on Quest. But those two games came out 2 years ago. And as we pointed out during the 2022 show, there was some decent games, horror games that came out in 2022, but there wasn't anything really all that great. So for someone like me, this is my favorite thing. Like, this is literally my favorite thing. I couldn't be more excited for an announcement like this, which is a game that I've been struggling with. Do I mod it? Do I wait? Do I mod it? Do I wait? I decided to wait, and apparently I made the right decision because now we're going to get a full-on VR version of it.
It paid off. And I think there's a little confusion in the chat. Brandon VR says he loves him some horrors. No, we're talking about horror. But teach their own, man. Like, who doesn't? Who does love some horrors?
My mom!
Yeah, she does. She loves everybody equally.
We're about to come into a new golden age for horrors in VR.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I think it's gonna be amazing. RE Village in all its PSVR 2 glory. D says she can't wait. That's kind of how I feel. I know that Alec Kazam has said this before a couple times in the chat before on other streams that he's playing through it flat so that he can be ready for the VR version because it's like such a scary game. And I can see that if you have a hard time playing it flat, I don't see how getting in the headset's going to be any easier, right?
Lucky Sloth wants to know if I've ever noped out of a horror game or a film. No. No, I love it. I love it. In fact, as much as I love them, I could still probably count on my fingers the number of ones that legitimately scared me. Like, normally I just like playing them because I enjoy that whole darkness of them. But it's the great ones that get my pulse up. And that's why PSVR 1 was so great for me. And I think why PSVR 2 is going to be so great once again is there's going to be some legitimately scary stuff. And when you talk about a game like Madison, again, this is a different type of game. This isn't something that has you in there, shooting monsters like Village has. This is an atmospheric horror game. It's something modeled after the PT demo. Something that's going to put you in a surreal environment where anything can happen at any time, and you're always on the edge of your seat, always looking over your shoulder. It's one of those type of games. Games that rely heavily upon the environment you're in and the sound design of the game to kind of create tension as you move your way through it. I love these types of games, and I'm glad that we're going to be getting one fairly early on in the life cycle of PSVR 2.
Yeah, I can't wait to find out when. Because right now there's no real actual date, right? So
No date on this. Although I know it's been in development for a while. I don't think this is going to be exclusive to PSVR 2. I just think that the initial announcement came as part of an event, around the hyping up PSVR 2. But I think it'll be cross-plat. I think PC players will get to experience this one as well.
Cool.
Our friend Alex joining us. What up, Alex?
What's up,
Good to
Alex?
see you. Old school Game Cats with us too. Says, how much have I missed you guys? Or have I missed guys? How much have I missed guys?
Yeah.
How much have I missed guys? I thought you were saying you missed us. I was like, well, that's an awesome thing for you to say.
About an hour, hour and 10 minutes.
You basically missed the PSVR 2 section of today's show because we're wrapping that up right now. So we talked about Gran Turismo 7. We talked about Horizon Call of the Mountain. Talked a little bit about Echo VR, and we're wrapping up the PSVR 2 section here with Madison. So, I think beyond my my crazy hype level for all these horror games, I think we pretty much wrapped up what I have to say about this. I can't wait to see more and hear more about this game. And I can't wait to strap the headset on and experience for the first time in VR. But with that said, we do need to move on from PSVR, talk about some other stuff, which you're in luck, ladies and gentlemen, because it wasn't all PSVR news this week. Actually, some pretty nice surprises from on the PCVR as well.
Hello, Mr. X. I'm the magician. And I want to share with you a little secret of mine. That's why I want to invite you to a private show. Aren't you lucky?
Retropolis 2, Never Say Goodbye, arrives on major VR platforms this year. This is from Henry Stockdale, Upload VR. Peanut Button confirms Retropolis 2, Never Say Goodbye is in development, bringing a new point-and-click adventure to, quote, major VR platforms later this year. Set 1 year after The Secret of Retropolis, Retropolis 2 continues the story of robo-detective Philip Log and Jenny Montage, an automated femme fatale that just can't keep herself out of trouble. With Log facing an enigmatic new villain, you won't need to play the original first. Peanut Button confirms Retropolis 2, quote, welcomes new visitors to the City of Robots and can be experienced as its own miniseries across 4 new episodes. You can read the full gameplay description below. Using Philip Log's extendo arms, the player is able to collect items from afar, use them to overcome obstacles, and move the plot forward. Retropolis 2, Never Say Goodbye also features enchanted logic puzzles, new rotation mechanics, and movement between different environments, offering a more challenging adventure with a substantially longer playtime than the previous game. With improved graphics and character animations, returning to Retropolis is more jaw-dropping than ever. We're thrilled to bring the story of Retropolis to the next level, said Asaf Gava, Peanut Button's lead developer, in a prepared statement. The first game ended on a cliffhanger, and our fan base has been eagerly waiting a sequel. We can't wait for players to experience the new episodes and return to the City of Robots. But we also wanted to make sure Retropolis 2 is just as fun and self-contained for new players joining the ride. Retropolis 2, Never Say Goodbye, arrives on major VR platforms later in 2023. When asked for clarification, Peanut Button confirmed to Upload VR that this includes MetaQuest, Pico, PCVR via Steam, and Vive XR Elite. All right, Roots. So this was a pleasant surprise. When we talk about some of the Gen 1 titles that we covered and enjoyed on this channel, we often overlook and forget about the great time that we had in the original The Secret of Retropolis, which was admittedly short, but it was an engaging puzzle game with a great story, and it's one that we finished willingly and really had a lot of good things to say about. We speculated at the time that we might one day see a sequel to it because of the way the thing ended, and here we are a couple of years later, and apparently that is absolutely going to be the case, and I'm glad to see it.
Cool. Do we know how long it's going to be? Probably not. Hopefully it'll be a little bit longer than the last one, but yeah, I do remember enjoying it, and Tech says that it did nothing for him, but you know, every game's not for everybody. Did you play the first one, Tech? That's what I have to ask.
No, that is a good question, because I do remember really being pretty impressed with this one. That was pretty fun. The puzzles were fun. The story was unique, and I remember being sad when this one was over. And particularly impressed because if I remember correctly, and this is me going from memory, so I could be wrong, wasn't this game made by like 3 people?
I think so. I don't remember exactly how many, but it's definitely sounds about right.
So definitely excited to pick this one back up. You know, I might even play through the original again because I think it was only like 2-3 hours. It was something like that. It wasn't a super long experience. But it was extremely well done, and you know, over the years we've played dozens of this type of experience, you know, casual puzzle games that tell a story, and we played a lot of good ones, but I think this one ranks in the upper tiers. Like we really, and I remember we really enjoyed playing this one.
Yeah, absolutely.
So anyway, stay tuned for more information on Retropolis 2 as the year goes along. Definitely something if you're into story-driven puzzlers, I think.
Internet funny man and Vertigo 2 cast member. I'm here to tell you about Vertigo 2 and what to expect from its imminent release. Vertigo 2 is a built-for-VR first-person shooter coming to Steam this March. The game is what nerds like to call a half-like. A game taking after Valve's classic Half-Life series. The Half-Life genre is tragically underexplored as they take more time to develop than the more popular Doom and Quake-inspired shooters, which have seen a renaissance in the recent years. This kind of game is marked by building a believable, interactive world, telling a story through a continuous first-person viewpoint, and indulging in plenty of spectacular set pieces. The setting will be familiar, primarily taking place in an underground science facility with a chronic case of loose inter-universal aliens. Vertigo 2 spices things up, though, and you'll be spending about a third of the game in more exotic environments, including the open ocean, flora-filled caverns, and an entire underground city. For these levels, inspiration has been taken from Half-Life 2's more open-ended sensibilities, including vehicle sections, vast natural spaces, and urban warfare with a squad of allies. There's a huge variety of enemies to encounter along the way, with dozens of alien species and security robots. We really wanted to portray the chaos of alternate universes intersecting, so an enemy allegiance system creates organic infighting between factions. Of course, not everybody's out to get you. Friendly characters can be found as well, with their own motivations and stories to uncover. Where Half-Life Alyx played things relatively safe with beginner-friendly VR gameplay, Vertigo 2 does not hold back. You'll be playing with an entire arsenal of 14 weapons, each with their own reload mechanics to learn. There are drivable vehicles, there are 10 bosses, there's free locomotion and, optionally, jumping. If that's too much to stomach, there are comprehensive comfort options and teleportation is available too. This is a lot to take on for a single developer. Zach's pretty qualified, having worked as a contractor at Valve on the Index, Moondust, and the Lab, and of course having shipped Vertigo 1 before this. But it still took years of dedication and hard work to get Vertigo 2 built. He's very proud of the finished product and is excited to share it with you. This has been Gianni. You'll be hearing from me again in March as Officer 13. If you want to see more, head to zulavo.com/vertigo2 and make sure to wishlist the game on Steam. Or I'll kill you. Yeah, hey, I'm here for the session. I'm sure you're very excited to get the full endorsement from Officer 13. No, we recorded it already. It was just a me thing. What? Me. It was me. It was like me reading the...
So here we are, approaching the end of our headlines segment, and I bring forth a topic here that, for whatever reason, didn't make any headlines this week, but this new Vertigo 2 trailer that just dropped this past week was so awesome that I just couldn't let the week get by without watching it here with all of our friends. That looks amazing, does it not?
Yeah, and we're only a month away from release of this thing, right? It's in March. I don't know exactly what the day is, but I was telling you that Dee was saying she keeps hearing about this game. I said, yeah, it's a good chance of being the PSVR game of the year this year.
Yeah.
It looks that good to me. And the Vertigo Remastered was so good. And they've been working on this thing for at least a couple of years, right? So.
Oh, yeah, this game's been in development for a very, very long time, like 3 or 4 years at least. And you can see it here, man. You can see it through the variety of gameplay, through the variety of environments. I know what I could do here. I don't have a headline, but what I do have, Roots, is... Oh, shit. I accidentally closed it out. Bear with me just a moment here, and I'm going to bring up the press release for this, and it gives us a lot of information about the game. It's funny, when they describe this game, Roots, they talk about it being a Half-Life, and they compare it to a game like Half-Life Alyx, and they say where kind of the scope of Half-Life Alyx was dialed back to make a more seamless VR experience, that's not going to be the case here. That there's no such limitations being placed on the gameplay loop here. This is much more like a classic Half-Life game, only now you're in VR.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, people like Dr. Greg and others have said that Half-Life 2 gameplay was better than Half-Life Alyx gameplay. So that's a good thing, right? I mean, Half-Life Alyx was an amazing experience game in and of itself, but we've said it before, if it wasn't for the Half-Life world and that nostalgia and everything else, it would have been a really good game, not an amazing game. And so I think this game, gameplay wise, is going to be next level compared to Half-Life Alyx. The remastered was so much better in gameplay wise. So
I agree, and we've often characterized Half-Life Alyx, as amazing and awesome as it was, as being kind of shallow in terms of gameplay. Now, as we were talking about with Farpoint and Horizon a moment ago, it doesn't have to have the deepest gameplay loop to be a great game. So, lay off, people. We're not saying that it's bad. It's really, really good. But how amazing is it that we're talking about a game here, Vertigo 2, that was developed by one guy primarily, and we're talking about it possibly and most likely surpassing Half-Life Alyx in terms of quality, when Half-Life Alyx in most people's minds is the gold standard for VR gaming today, even still.
Yeah, one person, 22-year-old VR game developer, Zach Brown, right? Like 22 years old. That's crazy, dude. That just shows you that. I mean, he knows what he's doing, and I'm excited to check it out. It's probably one of my most anticipated upcoming games that's coming.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about Vertigo 2 here. Now that I've got the press release up in front of me. Vertigo 2 is a single-player adventure built from the ground up for VR. Deep underground in the reaches of Quantum Reactor 7, you awake to finish your journey home. You'll have to face bizarre alien flora and fauna leaking from other universes, and deadly android security forces whose job is to purge the reactor of all life. Try to determine who is to trust as sinister agents lurk just out of sight. Vertigo 2 will release on March 30th, 2023 on Steam with support for all Steam VR compatible headsets. The price, $29.99 US.
Wow.
Some of the key features that make Vertigo 2 stand out. Hybrid locomotion, both smooth and teleportation are viable. Huge, bespoke world design. An incredible range of environments makes Vertigo 2 much more of an adventure than Vertigo 1. Enemy variety. Dozens of creatures and robots are waiting to be discovered. State-of-the-art VR weapons. Carry an arsenal of 14 weapons, all with unique reload mechanics and physics-based interactions. Fully voiced characters. A diverse cast brings the many characters of Vertigo 2 to life. An original soundtrack, intense boss fights. Vertigo is notorious for its ambitious boss encounters, and Vertigo 2 brings 10 brand new bosses. And, of course, a substantial campaign, 18 chapters long. Vertigo 2's story had many times more content than Vertigo 1. And I could go on. I mean, this is a pretty long press release, but I think we get the picture here, Roots. You think this game is going to be underpriced at $29.99? That seems kind of like a value, doesn't it?
It sounds like it to me. I mean, it sounds like it's going to be longer and bigger than Vertigo 1 remastered. So, but it just shows you that, you know, if your goal is to sell more copies, you don't want to price it too high, right? So maybe that's the sweet spot, $30, and then that way it does feel like a value, and everybody gets it.
So this game's going to have 4 or 5 times as many weapons as Half-Life Alyx had. I think in terms of length, it's probably going to be about the same amount, but 18 chapters long with 10 bosses. Like, that's one of the things I really appreciated about Vertigo 1 was, you know, in some of the more abbreviated games that kind of have characterized the Gen 1 VR library, you get boss fights, but you typically, you know, 2 to 5 bosses over the course of a campaign, depending on how long the game is. Back in the day, before VR, when we were playing games, I mean, the boss fight was a pillar of the game, right? It was what made the game worth playing. It was what you built toward. So the cool thing I've always enjoyed. One of the cool things I've always enjoyed about Vertigo is, you know, while it is a modern VR game and a state of the art modern VR game, it still relies on some of the old things that made older games great, with a variety of levels, weapons, and enemies that's uncommon to VR games today. We're really looking forward to this.
Absolutely. Not as many weapons as Borderlands 3. But then again, that was a flat game brought into there's no game I've ever played that's got that many weapons, right? Too many weapons. Borderlands 3. 14, that's a lot.
The world of Vertigo was conceptualized by Errol Busey, George Araculis, and Zach Salakis Brown. But it was up to Zach to make Vertigo 2 a reality. It has been on-again, off-again development since Vertigo 1 released in 2016, as Zach dedicated spare time to it between school and working at Valve. After the release of Vertigo Remastered in 2021, Zach began working on it full-time. So it's been in full-time development for a little over 2 years, but the groundwork was set over the course of 5 years preceding that. So this one's been in the works for quite some time.
Do you know how much the original was? People are asking. I don't think it was that much. I mean, I somehow had it in my library, and they gave the remastered for free, but it was like $20, maybe 30.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, is maybe it was 25 or 30 as well. Because I remember when Vertigo Remastered launched, and I looked at it, I was like, whoa, that's a little pricey. But again, back then, $20 was the standard, and $30 today isn't the same as $30 back then.
That's not even just VR. That's everything, man.
Right, exactly.
Crazy.
But yeah, I think you're right. I think I'm going to play PSVR 2 for 5 weeks solid, and it's going to take something to get that headset off my face. I think Vertigo 2 is going to be that something that gets me out and back over to my G2 for a little while.
If there isn't some kind of crazy mod that came out.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, that's a good point. I'm glad that you brought that up, Roots, because there absolutely is one other thing that could possibly drop between now and then that might just monkey wrench my whole PSVR 2 plan.
Coming to you, sir.
Talk reporting. Entry team, suspects have taken refuge in the area and are refusing to cooperate. Move in.
Police, hands up!
Please, just get us out
Hands
of here.
up, above your head.
Police!
Down on your knees. Get down, I want to see hands. Hands up, do it now. Hands up.
Talk to entry team. Mission objective.
Hey, Carly. Bet you never thought you'd be working for the man.
Fuck off.
Let's do this.
You're still here then.
Cover me! Reloading! Do we have a plan? Or are we, you know, winging it as usual? Let's go, Dottie. Through here!
To push him over the edge.
Oh, it's that guy's sister. I feel so bad for her.
Maybe Riley knows something I can use against Mac.
If he's innocent...
You in effect. Turns out people here are just as oppressed as the basers.
Was that your plan? To attack Dharma City?
Yes.
skill. Ugh. Horror. I hate horror. Man, that's a bad place to get stuck. And this place needs a serious overhaul. Oh.
So here we are again for the second story in a row. Something I just wanted to talk about without a headline. So this past week, Elliot Tate from the Flat to VR modding Discord put up a straw poll. And they're currently in the process of testing as many games as they can with the Praydog Universal VR Injector to verify that they're going to work and that they're going to provide a good experience to people. But of course, you're talking about a catalog of hundreds of games, so they can't test them all. So they wanted to know, what do you want them to test? And they put forth this this poll here. They told everyone that they can each pick five titles, and they are tracking your IP, so you can't just keep going in and voting.
Oh man.
But I mean, just look down this list, Roots. Hogwarts Legacy, some Grand Theft Auto games. There's Ghost Runner, Borderlands 3, Back for Blood, Atomic Heart, and Roots. My only problem with this poll is that I can't give all of my votes to Returnal. Returnal's on the list, though.
I picked my 5. I did this poll on Twitter, and I did it easy. I'll tell you what I did. I did Hogwarts, Back for Blood, Returnal, and It Takes Two, and Fortnite. That was easy. So boom. But there's so many other good ones on there, but
yeah, I mean there's a bunch, and I mean there's even a link up at the top there for the full list. This is just the ones that they picked because they thought would be more popular. There's a much bigger list that this Injector mod is going to work on.
That's crazy.
But I picked Hogwarts Legacy. I picked Returnal, of course. I picked Atomic Heart. I picked High on Life and the Callisto Protocol. Those are the ones I voted for.
Yeah, those are definitely amazing ones there too.
But I mean, Roots, even if like this list that they put forth here, if this was every game that the thing possibly could support, this is going to be the coolest thing that ever happened to VR modding. Like,
yeah,
it's just amazing just from this list alone.
Yeah, there's amazing games on here. There's games that are already been tested, and other mods that don't even need to be on here, that have their own mods, right? But not everybody uses those mods. Evil West was actually a pretty cool game too. There's a lot of good games in here, and like you said, this is just a small list. Hogwarts Legacy comes out in, well, for some of us, in less than 3 days. For the average person, it comes out on the 10th. But Yeah, it's definitely gonna be an amazing game to play in VR. I think Back for Blood, Returnal, those are my top ones right there.
I see Lord of the Rings Return to Moria. I see Severed Steel. I'm looking at the larger list now.
Gotta be fancy for that.
You just got to copy and paste it in.
Yeah, that's fancy. I did do it though. There is a lot of games on here. Sackboy, A Big Adventure. I have that. I own that. Dee bought that for me. I still need to play that with her. We can play it in VR.
There's a lot of games like that are just these kind of classic platforming games. Like Spyro's on here, Crash Bandicoot's on here, even the SpongeBob games on here as well.
Yeah, that's crazy. This list is huge, and it just shows you. Like, I mean, this is what I was saying the other day. For as much as the PSVR 2 is going to be amazing, the PC VR people have all of these AAA games, or most of them, at their fingertips pretty soon here. It's going to be an amazing time in VR.
Roots.
What's up?
Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2.
Oh, yeah. That should have been VR to begin with, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not out yet, so obviously they can't test it right now. But I got to say that the gameplay footage that I've seen of that game so far might be the most impressive thing that I've ever seen.
You know what?
It is so realistic looking.
One of the coolest games I think to play in VR would be It Takes Two, because it's one of the best games I've ever played anyway, and those worlds are so fantastical, and if they do it, depending on how they do the game, it's going to be phenomenal. I can't wait. It's going to be amazing.
The Forgotten City, Poppy Playtime. All the Sea we're getting an official VR version of already, but it's listed here as well. Man, there's just so much. The Outlast Trials, like, I mean, the Aliens games. Dude, this is going to be the most amazing thing, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Talk about something to keep PCVR alive. Like, this will do it forever. Like, there will never be any more talk about PCVR fading away after this releases, because there's just an endless game supply. Like, endless game. More games here than you can ever play through in VR. And no, a lot of them are just going to be, the standard flat game with a gamepad, but you're in the world full 3D. But people are going to build on top of this, and we're going to see, specific instances where games get full VR support. Like, for example, the game that we talked about on Wednesday. And really quick here, before we move on, I just want to say to those of you watching live, the first person in my chat that can tell us which game we modded last Wednesday will win a copy of that game.
Wow.
Right now.
That's a good game. Actually, I've gone back into it a couple times.
Oh, yeah?
And unlocked the next level, and yeah, it was cool.
All right, I think I have to. Looper the Underground Game Cat, congratulations. You just won a copy of Neon White, courtesy of our friend Guido. So thank you to Guido out there who wanted to make sure we gave away something cool this week. So
yeah,
shout out to that guy.
Absolutely.
You know what to do, Looper. Tag me on Discord. We'll get you the key. And unlike some of the other games that we've given away, I actually have this key right now, and we don't have to wait on it. Anyway, yeah, Neon White. I've been kind of going back and forth on whether or not I should get into that, because I feel like it was a lot of fun, and if I get into it to the point where I start chasing leaderboards, it's all I'm going to play. Like, I have to win, Roots. I have to. It's I need it, and when you need something, it's a responsibility.
Well, the good news is, Wes, you usually will, so just give it a shot. I think it's worth going through. I mean, I saw Alex, our old co-host, I think he's gone through the entire game, all 10 levels. So there you go.
I bet he thinks he's better than us.
This man legitimately thinks that he is better than us.
Yeah, well, he has finished the game. So, but no, it's definitely worth playing, I think.
Yeah, you know, my problem is I've just been playing a bunch of stuff that's not out yet.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't talk about. But I will say this: the game we've been teasing for the last week or so on the channel, the unknown game that I've been testing. I talked to the developer yesterday, and they're going to let us cover it pre-launch. So,
Nice.
Yeah,
I can't wait to check it out.
Stay tuned for that. Yep, it's good. It's good. You know, Eric played it last night. You know what he thinks about it? Thinks it's good. It's good. Anyways, yeah, you know, as excited as I am for PSVR and the launch lineup that's coming to it, I think I might be equally as hyped for this Injector mod, just because of the sheer volume of great games that it could possibly entail. Are you going to play Hogwarts Legacy flat, or are you going to just wait to play it in VR?
I think it's long enough game that I don't see how I have to play it flat because I have 3 days early access.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Otherwise that's wasted for that. But I think it's going to be one of those things that, you know, I probably wouldn't get. How long do you think it'll take them to get that out? Like a couple days? No, just kidding.
We've been expecting it any time now for about 4 months. So
the mod.
Literally it could drop tomorrow, or it might be 2 months from now. We don't know. I think it's close, but I don't know how close.
Yeah, hopefully I don't get picked into Slytherin. I don't want to have to restart. So.
All you gotta do is close your eyes and cross your fingers and go, not Slytherin.
That's what I was thinking.
Slytherin.
I'm just gonna be doing that, not Slytherin.
Anyways, legit excitement. Everyone go and vote on what you would like to see modded into VR, or tested rather, by Praydog's team. And by that I mean everyone go vote for Returnal. Please,
Yes.
everyone, just go vote for Returnal.
Why would you not? I think it's probably high on the list. I could have sworn when I voted it was voted pretty heavy. Hogwarts was also high on the list. I think everything I voted for was highly sought after. Back for Blood. How do I get to the list?
You just scroll to the bottom of the poll.
There it is. Results. I gotcha.
So yeah, it looks like Hogwarts Legacy. Yeah.
6%. No, but well, there's a lot of games on here, so that's actually the high end.
Yeah, it's the leader.
Oh my god!
By a pretty substantial margin, actually. Like,
where's Returnal on there?
Returnal is down the list, man.
So is Back for Blood.
Wow, Returnal's behind some bullshit too. What's wrong with you people? Do you not understand how awesome that game is?
I think a lot of people probably haven't played it. They don't have any idea.
That's true. We're still in kind of the infancy of PS5, so
2%, 211 votes versus 598. Of course, Harry Potter's going to be the leader, followed by Jedi.
Check out Atomic Heart, right up there in the top.
What about Stray? Why are people wasting their vote on Stray? It's already got a mod of its own. We don't need it.
Yeah, great mod.
Yeah, we don't need it. We don't need one for Grounded either.
Yeah, exactly. Grounded just launched this past week. I haven't even looked at that, Roots. Is that something worth our time?
I actually have thought about it. It looks pretty cool. People are raving about the game in general, flat. And being that, like, the scope, the sense of scale and everything, I think would be pretty cool. I think Radio Runt would love it. Spiders in VR.
Yeah, perfect.
So
yeah, maybe
Eric says it's all he wants to play right now, Wes.
It's so addictive. So addictive. Yeah, so maybe we add Grounded to our list when we get back to doing the weekly mods. Maybe not next, because there's a couple other things that we've been looking forward to trying, but we can definitely add it into the queue if it looks cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Super Nintendo Chalmers wants to know if the Stray mod is first or third person. I think you can do it either way. I thought.
I want to say that I can't remember. I want to say that maybe you could do it in first person, but that you don't want to play that one first person.
No.
Third person is the way to play it. Funky Sloth said, "Is Eric talking about what the bat?" You got
I think
us.
so. I think he's talking about Beat Saber, actually. Actually, I went into Audica the other night and was playing some rounds of Audica and just remembering how amazing that game is.
Yeah.
Still a really good rhythm game. Probably one of the best, in my opinion.
It's probably the funnest, like, pure rhythm game of that whole kind of balls flying at your face genre type rhythm game.
Yeah.
I like Synth Riders too, but honestly, Synth Riders for me is more about kind of the environments and stuff, and just being on that rail and dancing. I don't get extremely driven to like beat high scores or anything when I play Synth Riders. I just enjoy the experience. Whereas a game like Audica, it's all about scoring and getting the highest score you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, as soon as you get halfway through and you miss a note, you're like, fuck it, start it over. Do it again. If you're going for the leaderboards.
Right. Yeah. Anyways, that's going to wrap up our headlines for this week, but we do have quite a bit more to talk about as we move into the week's reminders. Stuff out this week, and we got some pretty cool stuff out this week. And starting with the Hubris update 1.2. This update focuses on improving the combat and new enemies. This was kind of the biggest criticism that people had for Hubris, was that it's beautiful, the story's pretty decent, the exploration and platforming is pretty good, but a lot of people felt like the combat was a little bit watered down and lackluster. So of course the good people over at Cyborn went to work immediately to rectify that, and that's what brings us update 1.2. Focusing on balancing stability and combat, this latest patch adds 2 new trooper variants, an alternative firing mode for the shotgun, and advanced graphical settings for higher range headsets and high-end GPUs to make combat feel faster and more reactive. Cyborn also says that it has tweaked settings to shorten the waiting and reload times, and added some changes to keep the action going. One thing this article doesn't mention is that in addition to the new trooper variants, they've implemented a new AI when it comes to the trooper battles, and there's a new type of drone in the game too that can attack you. So a pretty substantial update for what many people thought was the weakest link with regard to Hubris. And for me, Hubris was already an outstanding game. These types of updates are only going to serve to make it that much better.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. It was already good to begin with. Now they're making it better. Signs of a good developer listening to the community, right?
Right. And, you know, people said that I was crazy when I mentioned that versus the demo version of the game, that I felt that the graphics kind of got dialed back a little bit for performance sake when we tried the final version. People said that I was wrong about that. Well, apparently I can't be too wrong, because they fixed it so that people like me with a strong card and a strong headset can really get all that long distance detail back.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. It definitely was amazing. I mean, it's amazing in the form it was before, but it's good to not penalize people for having a really good graphics card, right? Or headset.
Yep. So yeah, this one I'm looking forward to getting back into, and hopefully I can find time to do that this week sometime, because I really like Hubris. So. Anyway, moving along, Straylight. I had to put this article in here, Roots, because you know what they say. Anytime there's a grappling game in VR. Oh, you got the old version. Okay, I changed this article, actually.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah. I'll just read the headline to you. Well, let me ask you this, Roots. What do you think that... so this is a grappling game in space. So you're grappling like Windlands or Jupiter God, but you're in space. So what do you think the headline is of the article that I switched to?
I cheated. I just pulled it up and found it. Something about Spider-Man.
Yeah. Straylight is like a VR Spider-Man in space. These guys just can't help themselves, can they, with the whole freaking
No,
Spider-Man
I
thing?
love that picture too, man. That guy looks like he's really Spider-Man-ing it up too.
Yeah. So I've actually played this game, Roots. I've put an hour or two into it. And it's pretty. It's definitely a unique take on this type of game. But dude, this game is freaking hard, man. And it goes from like 0 to impossible in about 5 seconds. So like the first couple of levels are fun. They kind of teach you the mechanics. And then it was like level 3 or level 4 out of 10. Like I just couldn't understand how it would be possible for me to do the things that they want you to do. Like, I'm sure if I kept going and banging my head against the wall, I'd eventually figure it out. But man, this game is challenging.
Todd says, and by the way, that's Todd on Q2C VR Gamer. He said, because he said that people are inherently stupid, which I agree with that, Todd. But he says the game has the dumbest trailer he's ever seen. I don't know. What about well, there's a lot of dumb trailers out there. But yeah.
Hussein X says, I've never heard of Spider-Man, but heard of Windlands.
Yeah.
So Spider-Man's like
Windlands
like,
with I don't know,
without guns.
Yeah, without guns. Yeah.
Yeah. Spider-Man's like Windlands without guns.
Yep. Without a bow and arrow.
Or it's like Straylight, but not in space. Tatum says, Straylight, run away.
I gotcha. It's really is Eric, unless you're offended, then it's Todd. I gotcha. That's a good play, Mash.
Smart. But you gave it away, man. You should have just stayed quiet. So yeah, Straylight is a potential to be fun. It does seem kind of like a primitive concept for a game, something that we would have probably enjoyed more in 2016, 2017. But I mean, if you enjoy a challenge and you like this type of movement, it is certainly challenging, and it is a pretty game too. It looks good. So that's my take on Straylight.
Cool.
Right, moving along to something that's actually coming out this week, Barbaria, coming to Quest headsets. So, hold on just a second while my thing loads here. So, Barbaria blends combat, base building, and multiplayer, which I guess the multiplayer is asynchronous multiplayer. But anyway, this game's been in early access on Steam for a while, and it actually looks pretty good. Here's the description. Use fists, axes, swords, bows, and rocks, or anything you can grab to dominate your foes in intense first-person combat. Then, jump out to your immortal form and watch your minions carry on the battle while you rain down meteors from above. Systemic combat, versatile enemy AI, and player-created defenses make every battle unique. But remember, you're not the only semi-god in Barbaria. Attack other players' realms to increase your mightiness. Receive rewards when you successfully repel others. Watch replays in miniature from your stronghold. Then strategically place and upgrade more structures, champions, and minions to keep future attacks at bay. So this is one of these, it's almost a new genre now. Roots with these kind of god simulators, these real-time strategy games, tower defense. These games were pretty one-dimensional in the flat realm, but now that we've come into VR, we're seeing these games get modified by incorporating other styles of gameplay in it to make it so that it's not so boring. First-person combat, magic, these types of things to make games that I typically would have never played before actually kind of fun to play.
Cities VR. They should have just had this where like I could turn myself into Godzilla and start attacking stuff. That'd be cool, right?
Yeah.
Although I'd be trying to defend my city because it's my city, unless the people get a little uppity, and then I'll rain some fire meteors on their ass.
Yeah, that's what you got to do. I mean, people get too big for their breeches. You got to hit them with earthquakes and floods.
Well, people have gotten used in 2023 where they can just say whatever they want behind a wall. Well, not in my world. I'll rain some meteors down on you.
Yeah, not in this world either, but that's a different story for a different day. No, Barbaria looks pretty cool, man. I got to say, and it's hitting West this week. So if this is your jam, maybe you want to keep an eye out. Maybe wishlist it.
Yep.
One more thing as we talk about what's happening this week, something fairly cool is happening once again. That is the Steam Next Fest is taking place. And as usual, there is a laundry list of VR demos that's going to be available to play for a limited time. Looks like there's about 20 games here. Some of them look great, some of them not so much. But at the very end of the list, Ruuts, is one that I've been interested in for some time, and that is Jupitergrad 2.
Oh, God.
The Lost Station is going to have a playable demo this week.
Nice. Well, Jupitergrad 1 is so good that I want to check out 2. And 2 is actually added onto it, right? So it's going to be more of a different, the same but different at the same time. So
an expansion, like we see from any good sequel. They're expanding on the game in every way.
Yeah.
This is going to be our first look at it.
Like Moss Book 2. Oh, wait, that was my opinion, not Brian's. I still do agree. I still think that it was a full-fledged sequel.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I mean, what they didn't like from a fundamental way change the game, because I mean, if you did that, it wouldn't be Moss anymore. But they made the combat much more varied. They made the puzzles much more varied. The environments much more varied. I mean, they just added on to the game in every way. And yeah,
I need to get back in there. I was just looking at it actually in my Steam library, and I need to check that out. Finish it. Put a nail in the coffin.
I agree with that statement wholeheartedly. Anyway, that's what's out this week. You guys be sure to get your demos in while you can. They are always only available for a limited time. So as soon as this thing starts, I think, was it tomorrow that it starts? Hold on.
Yeah, it says, I don't know if it has a date on February 13th.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Oh, no, it says Steam Next Fest goes live on the 6th. So yeah, tomorrow, 10 a.m. Pacific.
Yeah, 1 p.m. Eastern, and it's going to run for a week. So get in there tomorrow, demo some VR games, and we'll talk about it maybe next week.
Yep. Your camera disappeared for some reason.
Oh, I bet my battery died. Hold on, I can fix this.
I thought I did something. I bumped something. Ruuts bumped something.
I started with the weak battery. My wife's been playing around with the camera, trying to learn how to actually use it the way it's supposed to be used. So I thought it might be a possibility if we had gone on for a little while that maybe my battery would give out, and it did. So I just need to swap it.
So close. 2 hours. A little over 2 hours that thing lasted. Could have gotten 2 hours, 15 minutes.
What's there? Everywhere. All right.
It's all right, though. We'll see. I say, GB says, I dug Jupitergrad. It was a single serving game.
Yeah. It was fun, too. The movement was good. It had some nice classic old school platforming. And
it was reasonably priced too, right?
Yeah, like $10, I think, 15, something like that.
Now, Bluebell is speaking truth again. She says, Wes, your wife is awesome. Michelle is awesome.
She is. Yeah, absolutely. I don't dispute that. All right. Back to ZVE10.
There we go. We're in. We're back.
Boom. Got to recenter. There we go. And we're back.
I have bad news though. You're not virtually looking at the camera all the time. Oh, I don't think you had that option on.
No, I didn't. We can turn it on though for the rest of the show, just as an experiment.
Yeah.
So we're gonna turn it on right now, and my eyes should never leave the camera except for when it glitches out.
Oh, definitely a lot more than I think they should just. I mean, if they can reproduce people's voices now, because that's the new thing, which they've already been able to do for a long time. Man, who knows what we're watching is real or not? How do I even know I'm real anymore? This could be fake. So deep fake. Roots.
It's all fake. It's a simulation. Right?
It's all simulation.
I think it is. I mean, in the eyes of God, right?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's why some people get threatened by that. They're like, don't think that the two thoughts are mutually exclusive. They both can exist.
No, it's exactly the same thing. It's like us running experiments with AI.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
Well, and considering we know that this cup, it isn't really here as far as the atoms. You know what I mean? Like the way everything's, or what it's made out of. It's like nothing's really here, but it's here. Such a weird thought to have, but
right.
It works.
Just as items and digital assets are for the AI. So to us, the AI is a simulation. To the AI, that's real. The digital world is what's real, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
The only difference is that we don't restrict what the AI knows. We tell them exactly who we are, exactly how they were made, exactly why they were made, and we don't leave anything for faith, you know. Whereas our simulation, we were given some guidelines. Yeah, we were given some guidelines, but we were just told to have faith, and then people kind of spend their lives trying to fill in the blanks with regards to why we're here and what the purpose is.
That's true.
But it's not. You said it. They're not mutually exclusive ideas. Exactly the opposite, in fact, because if this is a simulation, then obviously simulations don't just happen naturally by chance.
Right.
Obviously.
Somebody put us in here. Right.
Yeah, exactly. And whether you want to call that God or the creator or whatever, I mean, it's the same idea, just packaged differently.
What are your thoughts on, like, considering, like we said, this cup's not right here? Do you think there'd be a future where in VR you could lean against the counter? Be like, maybe if you're like in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, you know, if you like throw yourself at the ground and then forget, and you'll start to hover, you won't actually hit the ground, you'll fly.
You know, I don't limit any possibilities. I'm a pretty open-minded person with regards to the nature of our reality, and until we have all the answers, I don't think we have any of the answers, and I don't discount any possibility as one day being possible. We might do anything, Roots.
A perfect example is, just in where people's thought processes are. At one point, people knew the world was flat and that it was crazy that you would think that this, the universe is what it is.
There's still people today that know that the world is flat.
Well, they're on the fringe. I can't say that we're not, but I mean, everything that I've ever seen is proven against it. But hey, prove me wrong. If you think that's the truth, don't start sending me stuff. I don't really care. But
all right, so we should probably stop talking about God and creation before YouTube cancels our stream.
You're done. You're out.
And get to the second of the week's reminders, which is this is the part where we ask you all to take just a moment and go along with us in real time, and let's all go wishlist a game together, so that we can support the awesome developers that have kept us with games while PSVR has been away all these years. So I don't think we can wishlist. Well, I don't know. I guess we could go wishlist Madison, right? The flat version.
Yeah, that's true. And Vertigo too.
So I wonder if this is going to be a free upgrade for people who bought the flat version of the game, or if they're going to do just a separate Madison VR that everyone has to buy again.
That's a good question. I mean, it did just come out in July, so I did add the flat version to my wish list there. It does look a little creepy, the picture there. It's nothing like the ghoul with sharp teeth kind of send the spook into you.
1,500 very positive reviews on Steam.
Yeah.
And this is a multi-plat game. It's on Switch. It's on the consoles. Everyone loves this game.
Yeah. Spry wants to know if we can wish list flat games that are going to be modded into VR. I just did. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can or not, or if you should, but it just happened right here in real time.
Yeah, you certainly can wish list anything that you want. Obviously, you want this to be beneficial to you as well as the developer. I tend to like to focus on indie devs when I do this because it means much more to them. Like, I mean, what are we going to wish Borderlands 3 that's already sold 10 million copies? Or are we going to wish list Madison that has sold like 10,000?
That's true.
So, well, I'm sure it sold more than 10,000. I mean, that was a bit of an underestimation, but you get the point. Anyway, be sure to let us know what you wish listed in the comments down below. And that brings us to our final reminder, Roots, this week and every week, and that is how you can do your part to support us, our community, and our channel. Of course, as we mentioned before, click the things. Please click the thumbs up if you like today's video. Make sure you're subscribed. You know, Roots, 20% of the people who watch our content aren't subscribed.
Wow. 20%. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. It kind of hurts me deep down a little bit, honestly.
Yeah, don't hurt Wes deep down. Just subscribe. You can do it.
You know who likes to get hurt deep down, Roots?
My mom!
She does. She loves the thumbs up, too, for it.
She does. She really enjoys the thumbs up. So, yeah, just click the things, man. It takes a half a second, and it's not a big thing for you, but it's a huge thing for us. So, please, if you wouldn't mind, just click all the stuff.
Yep.
If you want to do something more, say maybe you clicked all the things years ago and you want to do a little something more, you can support us on Patreon. $3 per month. That's all we ask. And in exchange for that, you get our weekly show notes, you get exclusive content, you get insider updates, all for less than $1 per week. And I can't begin to express just how helpful all of the donations on Patreon, through YouTube, directly into our PayPal. We're doing some pretty big, important things with your contributions and stuff that we wouldn't have otherwise been able to do. Maybe we'll share that with you all a little bit further into the future, but just take my word for it.
It helps a lot.
It helps a lot. It helps a lot. So thank you all for subscribing and donating. Yeah, it has meant the world these past couple of months, and it is going to mean the world over the next couple months as well, as we face some pretty steep expenses. So thank you all.
Bluebell says the show notes are awesome, Wes. And that if you have access to the show notes and you're not checking them out, you need to. You might just say, hey, I just watched the show. I don't need the notes. There's a huge section of cutting room floor. And that's always, to me, very interesting, just to skim through and see, okay, what didn't make it? Because there's some really big banger news in there that just didn't make it because we can't talk forever. So
yeah, we always cover a small fraction of the news that comes out during the course of the week. But as a value add for our patrons, I don't leave any of those articles out. You just have to scroll down past the actual show notes part to the cutting room floor part, which is often 5 or 6 times or more news down there than we actually cover in the show. And we cover everything from gaming news to hardware news and metaverse money type stuff. It's all down there. And, you know, it's nothing profound. It's all links to established VR media websites. But it's a one-stop shop. You don't have to go to each individual website. You don't have to wade through the endless list of articles you don't care about to get the ones that are relevant. I go through all of these websites. I cherry pick the most important stuff, and I organize it all for you in one spot. And again, this is just something that we do as a part of our research each week. So I might put an extra half hour each week into that section for the patrons. So again, thank you all for your support, and I will continue to do my part to make sure that your 75 cents worth per week is paid back in full. Right. So what else? Well, if there's another way that you can support, I'm trying to get used to adding new things into our our usual spiel routes, because I will mention one more time that if you want to get your Virtual Strangers merchandise, it is 20% off right now on redbubble.com. There's a link to My Mom's Closet in the description down below. Get this stuff while it's cheap.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Of course, times are tough, Roots. Not everyone has spare money, especially now with PSVR 2 coming out and all these new games coming out. There isn't a whole lot of extra cash to go around. So maybe you want to participate in the community without spending any money. Well, you can do that too by joining us on Discord. Our Discord community is awesome. There's lots of great people there. It's a family atmosphere, and most importantly, it's 100% free to join. Not only is it free, Roots, but we're giving people things. Like Mickey's on there giving away games every day. Yeah, all you got to do is click the invitation link down below. You will be met at the door and greeted, I assure you. It's a great group there, and I'm proud to be a part of it.
Absolutely. And listen, not only are you getting free games, you're getting notifications when there's police car chases going on for Radio Run and Tech. And it's the whole gambit of things. The only thing we don't talk about is things that need to be talked about in other Discords that cause discord. But for the most part, 99% of everything is on the table, So.
Yeah, and we even used to talk about that stuff, but it went how it always was going to go. Roots.
Wes tried to warn me too, and I was like, no, it'll be good. And then it went not so good. And then I was like the first one to say, okay, get it out of here. Because the last thing you want to do is not have fun with your family. That's what we are. We're family. So
yeah, and we don't all have to all see eye to eye on our worldview, as long as we don't talk about it.
yeah, and talk about it somewhere else, and we'll all be happy.
We focus on the things we have in common and not the things that divide us, which I think is something that the world as a whole could. Yeah, this is the way people used to be. We focused on the things that we had in common, and we just it was once considered impolite to talk about the things that we don't have in common. But now it just seems like that's all anybody wants to talk about, and that's no accident. Actually.
Yeah.
Anyway. We're all, it's a great group of people from all walks of life on there, and we all coexist pretty peacefully and talk about the things we all love. So come join us. Again, there's an invitation link down below. We'll see you there.
Yeah, come home. We miss you already.
Yeah. Well, actually, I'm there right now. So
that's right.
Literally there right now. Anyway, I think that's our show for this week, friends. And with that said, I'd like to thank you all once again for watching. For Roots, I'm Wes. I must introduce Eric when he's not even here.
He's out there.
For Roots, I'm Wes. We'll see you Wednesday, folks. Bye now.
Take it easy.